having athletes just jump from company to company to company to company to company, nobody's buying that anymore. Nobody's buying that shit. So I'm done.
Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of very interesting bodybuilding updates. I don't know guys if you noticed, but I changed my lights a little bit around. Maybe it looks better now. Tell me what you think about that. Anyways, the first thing we're gonna talk about today is something very interesting, and it's Martin Fitzwater leaving Hosstile, or Fouad Abiad and Hosstile firing Martin. Why are we even talking about this? Does it matter that much who these companies are sponsoring, where these athletes are going? Are they with this supplement brand now or the other one? It doesn't really matter that much, but for some reason it's always interesting and it causes a lot of drama when it happens with Hosstile and Fouad. I'm guessing it's because Fouad is out there, he is part of the industry, of the media, and he is very outspoken, very opinionated, and he had a strong opinion about what happened between Martin and Giles Thomas. And that is what makes this thing super interesting. The question is, and basically an assumption of so many people, so many Instagram pages and other media outlets, everybody is assuming that Fouad potentially fired Martin for attacking Giles Thomas physically and verbally at the Prague Pro. Is that really it? Well, if you guys follow Fouad, you probably heard him talk about this issue, and his stance is that this was wrong, but it's not a big deal. And that's it. So if that's really what he thinks, then I don't think he fired Martin for that. And actually, in his most recent Q&A, Fouad addressed this topic, the reason why Martin is no longer part of the Hosstile. Check this out.
Martin is going to be a great bodybuilder. Martin will not be a great bodybuilder with Hosstile, though, and it's because we're going through some budget cuts at Hosstile, and you know, Martin's contract came due. He wanted to make some changes. He asked for some things, asked for some increases, and our budget's just not. It's just not in our budget right now to do that. So I wish Martin the best, and Martin is going to do great things with some other company. He didn't want to stay for the current contract, and that's okay. You know, these athletes, I notice, you know, kind of bounce around from company to company, and, you know, they're with 4, 5, 6 companies. Having athletes just jump from company to company to company to company to company, nobody's buying that anymore. Nobody's buying that anymore. When an athlete jumps from a company to company, oh, we love that person's products. Nobody's buying that shit. You know? So I'm done. I'm just like...
Okay, interesting. So you can notice in this video that Fouad is emotional while he's talking about this, and that's not because he's sad that Martin is leaving. No, he was talking about how he's feeling now with his recovery and with his health, so that's why he got emotional before this topic. Now, as far as Martin, he says, I wish him all the best, but then he says, these athletes are jumping from a company to a company to a company. It doesn't work. Nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying that shit. So, you know, he's wishing him all the best, but really it seems like he's a little bit upset. He probably wanted to keep Martin, but with the same contract, and Martin wanted more because he was probably offered more by his new sponsor, Raw Nutrition. Now, somebody in Martin's comment section asked Martin, question, are you still with Hosstile? Somebody else replied and says, nope, he wanted more money, so he left, probably going to ESN. And Martin replies to that and says, do not speak for me, this had nothing to do with more money. And then he says down below that he's with a new sponsor already, and that's Raw Nutrition. So what exactly does this mean? Fouad saying one thing Martin left because his contract ended and he wanted more money, but the budget was not allowing for that, and they had to let him go because of that. And you have Martin saying that that's not the case. That he didn't leave because he wanted more money. That this collaboration ended not because Martin wanted more money, but it's something else. It's something else. And it's interesting that Martin found a new sponsor the next day. So this means that Raw and Martin were negotiating this for a while, and then Martin just monkey branched from one company to another. But what is the real reason? Why these guys stopped working? It's not the Giles Thomas thing. I'm sure it's not that. But it's something. It's something personal. And we've seen so many athletes so far leave Hosstile and complain about the way Fuad treated them. Personally, I worked with Fuad for a year and I had nothing bad to say about Fuad or Hosstile. I was happy, it was all good for me at least, but we saw some other athletes complain, so who the hell knows what happened. You guys know what Martin is like. Personally, I don't like Martin anymore at all after what he did at Prague Pro, but you can see that he's an emotional person, very, very emotional, so... And Fuad is also the same way, and these guys probably had some arguments over this time they worked together, so who the hell knows what was an issue. I can see that Martin can be difficult to work with, and I can say probably the same thing about Fuad as a boss. Again, personally, no issues, but if somebody has a much bigger contract than I had, I can see that there can be some problems. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's not what Fuad is saying. It's not the Giles Thomas thing. We don't know yet. If I find out, guys, I'll let you know, but you guys tell me down below whatever you think. Before we move on, guys, real quickly, I want to let you know about Eradicate. I don't want to go too much into details what it is, but go to the Blackstone Labs website and search for it and read what it is. So if you're willing to go that next step, but not quite, this is it for you. This is the thing for you, and this is very powerful. It's a supplement. You can get it on the Blackstone Labs website, and if you use the code EVAN, you get a 15% discount, guys. Alright, now the next thing we got is something very interesting and kind of sad, let's put it that way, from Beef Stew. Now, you guys gotta know who Beef Stew is. His hair basically made him famous. He doesn't really have it anymore, and he has been failing left and right for a while now. When he first burst into the scene, to the pro scene, he was doing really well. He was like in the top 2, top 3 at the New York Pro, and like he was very close to qualifying for the Mr. Olympia, but in the last couple of shows, last couple of seasons, it hasn't been very good. Things haven't been going his way, and he made a post after the Japan Pro where he took 7th. Still, he managed to beat James Hollinshead, but 7th place at Japan Pro is not a great success. So he says, Japan Pro 2025, I did this show on the other side of the world to redeem myself in my own eyes. My showings in Tampa and Texas this year were bad. I wasn't lean enough, I was ashamed and disappointed, and I felt I needed another showing before the year was done to present something I was proud of. I still placed poorly, 7th, but I did what I wanted to and showed up in shape this time. I'm happy with my look. I don't know what's next for me. This year has been a gut punch. My placings have gotten worse over my 3 pro seasons so far, and the goal of making it to the Mr. Olympia is getting more and more distant. I used to believe I had what it takes, but now I'm not so sure anymore. I am not quitting, but I need to step back and make a plan to get where I want to go. First step is getting gyno surgery. I had a flare-up early in this prep that just never went away, so I'm getting that cut out in December. I need to have a bit of an off-season, but keep myself lean, and most importantly, keep my waist tight. My waist has grown in the last few years, and it has taken away from my overall look. And of course, I need to grow my hair back, for sure. Always more work to do. Alright, so at least he's pretty much aware of all the things that are problems with him, but it's still kinda weird what is happening with him and his placings. Similar to what is happening to James Hollinshead. Like, this guy used to be winning pro shows, but now he can't crack the top 7. He's placing 8 at a very low level pro show, and he doesn't look like he got that much worse. I think he did, but I don't see a huge difference. And I don't think the competition got that much better. For some reason, he just can't place any higher. And a similar thing is happening to Beef Stew, but let's take a look at his physique. So he says he's happy with the conditioning he brought to this show. I mean, the lighting at this show was just so terrible. It's very difficult to even figure out who was in shape and who was not. But what I can notice is that he is still not in some kind of a crazy condition. Was he before, when he was placing well? Not really. I don't think he was ever super shredded, but I think he was leaner before, a little bit leaner. This conditioning right here is okay conditioning, it's decent, but what is an issue with his physique? Mainly, in my opinion, it's just the lack of the details and the quality, and yes, the waist did get wider. Also, his gyno looks pretty terrible now. Look at it right here when he does this, damn, like maybe they punished him for that as well. But overall, I would say he lacks that polish, those details. And it actually looked better last year at the New York Pro, where he took a 4th, but that was 4th behind Nick Walker, Martin Fitzwater, 2 guys who are top 5, top 6 in the Mr. Olympia. Antonio Burton was the 3rd guy that beat him, also a top 10 Olympian. And Beef Stew gave him a pretty good run for his money, so yeah, I mean, this guy had a lot of potential, and that hair was a problem back then, but it seems like it was his lucky charm, so he should bring the hair back, get this terrible gyno fixed, and work on somehow managing to lower the size of his midsection and maybe work on bringing more details in his physique. Can that be done? I mean, that's a good question. He's not sure if he's done yet, if he's retiring or not. He wants to do an off-season, try and stay lean, get rid of the gyno, maybe try and lower the size of the midsection. If he does that, then maybe he can come back and look good and potentially qualify for the Mr. Olympia. Is that in the books? You guys tell me down below in the comment section. Alright, and the final thing we got is a bit of something from Regan Grimes, and he says his off-season is going to start in 2 more weeks, so now I'm guessing he's in his health phase or maintenance phase, and this is what he looks like right here. So honestly, guys, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I hope he actually does one off-season right and actually puts on some serious amount of muscle. If he doesn't do that, if he takes it lightly, he's not going to progress in placings. It's going to be the same story it was for the past couple of years. As far as what he looks like right now, yeah, this is a great spot to start an off-season. I mean, his conditioning is still great. His size is holding on well if he's actually on low gear right now. And if he starts an off-season at this point, this is a very good starting point. And if he actually pushes things, he can progress. He can make some solid gains and actually look good, look big, and actually do well next year, even at the Mr. Olympia level. But we'll see about that. I don't really have too much to say about Regan. I really added him to just make it 3 stories for a thumbnail. I don't have much more to say. This is it. You guys can tell me whether you think he's gonna make progress this offseason or he never will. And that is gonna do it, guys, for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you soon, guys. All the best and bye-bye.